Hey guys, Brad McCraw, CEO, Executive Producer, Mosaic Pro Events here on the Crew Call Pod. Catch us weekly on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Today's episode, we're back in the Mosaic headquarters, the HQ, with some of the staff members, 3 of the production team here with us. We've got Andrew, Rob, and Jonathan, and we're just going to riff on some production stuff, get everybody up to speed, what we're doing, where we've been, what we've been on show-wise, debrief some of that stuff, and then talk about some logistics that go into what we do and how we do it. So welcome, guys.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
We just got off a fun show. You 3 of you were on it. No, Rob, you were out of town.
I was not on it.
Rob was ditching shows yet again.
Yep.
Typical. For a wedding.
I advanced it.
Very typical.
You did advance it. Powerhouse Women, a fun client of ours. It's a big women's event. It's always fun. We've been talking about getting on the podcast and like debriefing shows. We had a couple shows come recently. Let's start there. Let's talk about the recent shows we wrapped up. We had Powerhouse Women. We had our huge one, SAS. We had a pastor's event out in beautiful California. So I think for you guys, it'll be fun to kind of talk down what goes into these shows from a pre-production phase, what goes into these shows on site, what goes to these shows after we wrap up. So let's just start there. Knisley, Jonathan, why don't you guys tell us about Powerhouse Women? We kind of went into that one. What's your takeaway? What's your feedback? It's kind of a smaller event for us, which we don't mind. We kind of do it all, but this one was a 3-day show?
Yeah.
1 day load in?
We came in, supported the client with audio video lighting. There was a scenic company that did all the scenic outside of Mosaic, so we just, worked around them. It was an event for 600 women. It was crazy, to say the least. Women are crazy when they're just around other women. But yeah, it was a tight load-in time. We had to load in at 6 a.m. and had to be rehearsal show ready by 4 p.m. for a
Which
show.
is unusual for us to do.
We don't prefer that. We at least want one full load-in day for our prep. But we had show starting at 6, so I feel like Jonathan should talk about, because Jonathan comes from a background with great leadership and managing big teams, but he's newer to this industry.
Yep.
This show, tried to push him to kind of PM the show from start to finish. I thought he did a great job. I mean,
thank you.
Sure.
Speak on that, like how that went for you.
Definitely nervous. To be completely honest, it was nerves at first. The nice thing was how we do things here in the office is the preparation, things we've changed, things we're getting better at, the communication we have. I felt very comfortable when you asked me to do it.
Yep.
Obviously there were some things which I was very glad you were still there with me, just because I want to double check. I want to do things right, want to make sure we're doing right for us and for the client ultimately. But it was great. I had a lot of fun. We had a great crew. Like you said, we were done setting up by 3:15, 3:30, so we were ahead of schedule that day, getting ready for rehearsals. For me, it was some new things, some things that I have noticed, things that, following you and following Rob and things you guys are doing as PMs. Ultimately, it set me up for success, even though I had my own issues of like, man, I'll see how I do, because there's still a lot of, like you guys said, there's a lot I still have to learn, with this industry, but I just kind of fell back into my upbringing, so to speak, in the years of doing stuff. And I was like, okay,
Yep.
WWAD, what would Andrew do?
We talk about it all the time. I talk about it on podcasts. If you watch anything we do, we put a lot of energy and time and consistency into our pre-production phase, which Jonathan tapped into. Just encouragement to other producers, production companies. 99% of what you do should be in pre-production to set yourself up for success when you get on site. Just because it allows you to have fun on site, allows you to do those things like when you're doing a load in the day of show, which is crazy to think about. If you're due diligent in that pre-production phase, at least you've got your ducks in a row. There are always going to be variables. Our industry is full of variables and troubleshooting and stuff out of your control. But if you put all that time and energy into the pre-production, which these guys do on a daily basis here in the office, it really sets you up for success on site in a major, major way. Let's talk about that. We're going into a Powerhouse Women show. We get the client. I get the contract signed. Nice. You can kind of start from there and then let these guys jump in. What's the process for us look like, just to give other people encouragement on what's a good way to do it. We're not saying we're the best at it, but we do a really good job of the pre-production. So just talk down what that looks like from contract phase to hitting the ground that day.
Yeah, the nice thing is we have a really well built up system. So like once any show hits our desk, we use Monday, which is a software for task management for us. So we'll just add a show in, and it has already a template built in of like the base level things that we have to get done. And then we add to that depending on the show and what it needs. So that comes across, we instantly know, okay, we have to look at the drawings and the render that you sold. And we're looking at that, and, assigning tasks. Like Jonathan will go and look at what's the drape needs. What do I have to get based off that drawing that you guys created? So we'll take that. We'll start getting quotes for that. I'll take budgets. So whatever the contract is, first thing I'm doing is putting numbers in. Like, okay, what's my wiggle room? I know drape usually comes in around this cost. So if I know that tells me how much my gear vendor, how much I can give them. So then I will reach out, have like Salazar send out an email to our gear vendors and saying, here's the gear that we sold and what we need, and we need it at this ballpark budget. And then we just start the ball rolling from there. We get crew on hold, depending on once the contract, they'll say like, we have 12 techs on this show. So we're like, okay, what are the 12 positions we need? We'll assign the crew. We'll send an email out, ask him to hold those dates. Usually we'll do that before the contract's signed because we know the show's in the works. So we try to get ahead of the schedule as far as we can, so that those guys are all super busy. Like if we can get a year out, that's great. 6 months is also great, but sometimes it's a month before, which is hard to get some of these guys who are doing this for a living. They're super busy, so that's a big thing. And then just navigating that. So once we pass off tasks, these guys are just head down, getting all the quotes and refining little things like fire marshal needs, haze needs, how that works, load in, load out times, dock schedules. Yeah.
We're doing all the rigging. One thing we do for our clients, which I encourage producers, if you're like us, we do all rigging negotiation on behalf of our client, just because they hired us to be the expert. We want to be the expert. So we want to know, it's twofold. We want to set ourselves up for success. We want to know what we're getting into once we hit the ground, and we want to know that the points are in the right spot and all that stuff. But we also want to save our clients money because rigging costs are outlandish right now. So really, like, own that for your client, especially if they're not technical. Make sure you're owning that. So that's a lot of what you guys do. Rob, what else you guys are diving into in a show like that?
We also, we get a design, a layout, an idea from you. And then we just cross-reference with our gear vendors and in the office, cross-referencing gear and what's on the current pick list, what's on the current version for what we're looking at. And I typically try to do some power calculations with Nisley and Sampy and our gear vendors, just to see what everything's going to be pulling from, and then go back to the venue contact, talk to them about pyro locations, where's your rigging points, and sort of go from there, and just essentially just going back and forth and cross-referencing like crazy up until the show.
I had a good question from producer Jeff, who's behind the camera, gives us some questions sometimes. We're talking, say, a client or an event producer, which is kind of the level above us, who hires us to do stuff. If they're going to set you guys up for success when they're going into, designing on their end or coming up with stuff, what's some things that they can do better on their end to help you guys set up for success on your end? One of them, we had a conversation with some event planners recently who just kind of wanted to get to know us and kind of talk logistics. So we talked about site visits, some things that the client can do at a site visit that would really set you guys up for success.
Right away, just on some of these know exactly where power is coming from.
Yeah, it's critical. And how much power.
And how much we can get in that room, depending on how many taps we can get into, knowing where we're going to set stuff up. That's a big deal.
Ceiling height. Sure. It's always obviously good to know ceiling height, loading dock space, if they can look out for loading dock spaces for us.
Giving us the room for a dedicated amount of time, like making sure that's defined, like the room blocks we do now, like seeing that, like that says, hey, you have this room from 6 a.m. to midnight.
Yep.
Like knowing we have that, because you'll get on site and be like, oh, there's actually a show here until 8 a.m. Like you can't.
That's a good point for event planners or clients to look out to when they're planning an event, because sometimes they'll be like, hey, we need the day before and the the hotel or venue will be like, well, it's going to be an additional fee. And they get a little nervous about that additional fee. But realistically, if you're able to pull in your production company, and I'm not saying you have to hire us, this is for everybody, like you're gonna end up saving money, because usually when you get into a situation like you guys did, where it's set show strike or set show the next day, set show that night, like the amount of overtime that we're gonna have to bill for, the urgency, the variables,
could be short turn going into the next day.
It could be short turn. So
It's a snowball.
weigh those decisions. I always say it all the time, like have a trusted production partner that you're able to pull in as early as possible in this process. If you're an event planner or a client, and find somebody you trust. Again, it doesn't have to be us. I mean, we would do an amazing job for you, but there's a lot of people out there that would do an amazing job. But find the one you trust and pull them in as early as you can in the process, and it'll limit the variables when you get to that day. They should be setting you up for success with how much load-in time they need to save you money. They should be setting you up for success on rigging cost, power cost, staging. We're running into a lot of it right now where hotels aren't letting us do LED on their decks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's been a thing.
I mean, Jonathan can talk about, because he's kind of led this up about communication. He essentially, you can talk about it more, but his sole job towards the end of our pre-production phase is compiling all the information and giving all that information to crew and to venue, like putting together all the documentation for that. I think that's huge. One, it sets our crew up for success, so they know what they're walking into, and then they can review things, but also we create a relationship with the venue early on, and they always appreciate it. And it's shocking how many we talk to that say they don't receive almost any of this information.
It's more common than not.
Yeah. Showing up blind.
I mean, talk about what that entails. Like,
like for us, we have what we call the technical letter that we use, right? We're building up, sending to the venues and different people, which is amazing. Thanks to Rob showing me when I first started how to get those going. But that tech letter, for me, I don't care if I'm not on the show or not. I know as much about it as I possibly could. So one, that gives us information. Two, something happens nicely or Rob's sick and someone else can step in that's building it. We all have the same information. We're communicating all of it. And like you said, it goes to the crew that we hire. Another part of that goes to production letter, which goes to everybody. I love the detail of it. The fact that we, have in there venue setting chairs, venue setting tables, rigging's happening at this time in this ballroom. Some of these shows, like we talked about, even like SAS and stuff. How many different rooms did we have?
23, I think.
You know what I mean? Like it was so many that this helps us when things get a little, for lack of better words, a little chaotic, a little much. We have something that we can fall back on to really lean on it. And we've even changed it even more lately to instead of having a whole bunch more tabs on the bottom of this one document, condensed everything in one tab. It's easier, it's cleaner, it's better. Truthfully, for us, it makes it to where we got one spot to go to. When we send it, the client or the people from the venue only have to look at one spot and all the information's there.
And big picture, just build that relationship with the venue. I think it's a weird thing. Production companies in general have a weird relationship with the venues. I mean, one, we're taking business from them because they get a kickback if they use in-house, which nobody wants to use in-house because they're awful. We all know who I'm talking about. But it's amazing what you get if you build a good relationship with the venue in the pre-production phase. When you show up, they'll jump through hoops for you if you have a great relationship. When you need tables, when you need, hey, the staging was put in the wrong place. Hey, is it cool if we get our trucks in a little earlier? Hey, is it cool if we load in the room a little earlier? Sure. We've had that where a hotel will tell us, oh, you don't get the room till 8 p.m. because there's another group in there. We'll show up at the hotel. It'll be 4 p.m. The room's empty. They'll be like, oh, it's good. You guys are good. I'm not going to charge the client. Go ahead because we've got a great relationship with you. So, there's a lot of time and energy that goes into that, but the payoff once we get on site is tremendous.
Huge. The two venue advances that I started the email thread with, the one coming up September and then the one in October, both of them said, it's always a pleasure having Mosaic in the house. Looking forward to working with you guys again, which is really cool.
It's awesome. Yeah.
We're there once a year.
Yeah. What a cool compliment.
They're busy. You know.
They see a ton. They see a ton of events.
Which is cool. Then, there's already a relationship established.
Yeah, so for us to stand out in a good way, because I'm sure a lot of people stand out in bad ways and they're memorable 100%. From that. So for them to, we got an email. We did an event in Dallas, and we got an email from the conference service lead. Same verbiage. Like, man, it's always a pleasure. I know when you guys are coming in, I get all the information I need, which sets me up for success, which sets your client up for success. I mean, at the end of the day, we're in the service industry. I've talked about this before. We need to remember that we're in the service industry. We're here to provide a service for the client. We're here to set them up for success. Obviously, we get paid really well to do it. So let's do it well, or give our best to it, and, try to shoot for excellence in all we do. And that includes pre-production, hotel relationships, client relationships. That should all be one thing. It shouldn't be, we treat our client really well, but we're really shitty to the hotels when we do it.
No, we're all the
that
same
doesn't make
team.
any sense.
We're all trying to get the same thing accomplished.
Well, and they can make our lives hell if they wanted to.
Literally.
Venues
Like I said,
they can be terrible.
Nope. Even
to
if the
us.
room's empty. Nope. You guys aren't getting it till 8 p.m.
Like Powerhouse, me and Jonathan came in an hour before everybody to just double check rigging was coming in, power, and that staging was getting placed. It was on our schedule not to even get placed till 6 a.m.
Yeah.
So our goal was like, hey, we'll get there and we'll be with the house people as they said it. Well, they were ahead of the game, so we walked into a stage already built, which is great. It's ideal. That's what we want.
Yep.
Sure.
But then, we're going to do our due diligence and double check that. And we were checking measurements. And we're like, hey, this is off by 5 feet, which, especially in that scenario for Powerhouse, we're in a diagonal room, and 5 feet, especially in a diagonal space, is super noticeable.
Yeah.
Like you can just tell if it's a foot off. So we're like, we could do this ourselves, but let's just ask the house people. And we called them, and they no complaints. They're like, oh yeah, sorry. Like we were trying to get ahead of. We're like, it's hard. Like the measurements on a diagonal room is super hard, but they came in and moved it in literally 10 minutes, and we're happy to do it.
Yeah. With great attitudes.
Yeah, and
Big
because we
difference.
started that way, like, hey guys, would you mind? And it's treating them nice. We're being treated the same way. They're like, hey guys, sorry about this. Oh, are you kidding me? No, it's no problem. Anything else you guys need? Like, it's just be respectful to people.
And there's also no reason for anybody to be rude to them.
Yep.
In general, they're
Yeah.
still human beings. Like, come
Exactly.
And we're all there to provide us. At the end of the day, we're all there to provide a service to the end client,
Yeah.
who's paying the bills for all of us.
For sure.
So yeah, and it just makes life easier. So encouragement to producers, production companies out there: be great to the venues, because they can be great back to you. On that point, another question from producer Jeff: what's the one permit regulation planners should look out for the most when completely, planning these events, and really could derail something or add a lot of stress and time and energy? I mean, I say it all the time. Union's a big one.
Yep.
When you're planning events and you're going to these venues, first thing out of your mouth should be, is this a union house? What are some other variables that we run into that we wish were kind of caught earlier in the plan?
I'd say fire marshal stuff is definitely huge, because they have the end all be all power to shut down your entire show if something's not right, or somebody's not willing to adjust or pivot or move something. They could shut you down, and you just don't have a show, and it's out of anybody's control. So
Yep.
getting information on that, I mean, even like haze, like it could be something as simple as, hey, this is our haze schedule. What do you guys need from us? Is it permitted? Do we need to schedule any fire watch? It could be as simple as, no, just let us know your timing and we'll turn off the alarm system. Like, don't worry about it. Or it could, fill this out. Here's this pricing for the watch. Like, here's all this stuff. But it could be as simple as not letting the sprinklers go on off of the gear, or making sure, hey, client, this is how much it's going to cost to have haze for duration of the show.
Yeah.
It's huge.
I would say timelines, like going back to what we were talking about earlier. Like some clients don't care, like they're fine with whatever. But OT always is a shock at the
Always.
end of a show for most clients. And at the end of the day, we don't want to work overtime. None of us here want to.
We're fine with 10-hour days.
We're okay with a 10-hour day or less. Like we prefer that, but we're gonna work however hard we need to and however long to make sure the show's set up for
Guaranteed,
success.
yeah.
But some of even programming time, like some shows, they'll have programming from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. and then they think, oh, okay, cool, yeah, there's gonna be some overtime for that, but then they don't think about well, we have to come in hour or two before that to make sure everything's set, run through our own rehearsals, and then an hour or two after to fix anything for the next day, get new content loaded for the next day.
Yeah,
so
it doesn't
all
start at
stretches
8
out.
a.m. and end at 10 p.m.
So,
for us.
I mean, just for if they're looking for if they're on a tighter budget, do a timeline that fits within a 10-hour day.
Yep. Yeah.
That's,
Which is hard for a lot of people, but yeah, you have to think we're always first one in, last one out. So you've got to think, if you're programming from 8 to 10, assume we're there from 6 a.m. till midnight. Just assume 2 hours before, 2 hours after. And yeah, that's really where you have to start your bases, because it happens. We always try to be due diligent and, at least educate the client on that, which I encourage everybody to do, up front. If they send you the show flow, or if you're, talking about next year's event, hey, just a heads up, here's what's happening, or here's why it happened last year, because this happened. So yeah, again, it goes back to my original point. If you're an event planner, find a trusted production partner where you can talk about these things with, before you get into the contract phase. Have them alert you, hey, here's what we're thinking. What's your thoughts here? And if they disagree with everything, they're probably the wrong person. They shouldn't just always be yes people. You're hiring them to be the experts, which means you're hiring them to give you the correct information and accurate information. So you don't want to get bit in the butt on the post invoice when there's just a grip of OT that you weren't aware of before.
And it's as simple as like we've had numerous clients where they'll start their last day of session, the loadout day. So we'll have a little bit of a show and then loadout. They'll start at like 9 or 10 a.m. and do a show and then go to lunch, do a lunch break, and then come back for like an hour or two of show. And all that's doing is pushing the day longer for everybody.
Yeah.
Which just means more loadout time, pushing everything back. And there's a lot of crew coming in for loadout. Like, why not start at 8 a.m. and have the show done before lunch? So now we're not just sitting here in purgatory for an hour or two for a lunch break.
Yeah.
When we could be striking right at lunch,
Yeah, it just allows them to save some money.
Which is stuff we all look for when we communicate to the client.
You make programming things, and they might not think that. Like an event planner might think, oh, it's only an hour after lunch. It's no big deal. But yeah, you're instantly adding 2 or 3 hours to your production team's contract that day. That's going to cost in the end. So just thinking of things to offer to clients or event planners out there that are listening, to really encourage you to, again, get a trusted partner, talk about all these things, save yourself some money. And even going back to like fire marshal and permitting and stuff, I ran into an event planner. I did a speaking engagement recently. And we were talking about this stuff, and I talked about how we do all that for the clients. No additional fee. It's kind of baked into what we do. And she was like, man, I didn't even know there was production companies that did that for you. And I mean, we're really a producer and we're in a production company, but she was like, this is crazy. I have to do this on every one of my events. Like, I have to balance the fire marshal. I have to submit the tech letter that Jonathan mentioned. I have to get with the hotel. Like, it's crazy to think that I wouldn't have to do all that. Which doesn't make any
sense to me.
It doesn't, but that's just the way we do things. So again, I'll keep harping on it. Find somebody you can trust. It doesn't have to be us, but find somebody who's going to do all that for you. That should be part of what the producer, the production company is doing to set you up for success. We're the experts. We know how to deal with the fire marshal. We know how to deal with rigging. We know how to deal with the staging and move it at 5 feet. But she was blown away just at the fact that those small things are things that we do as part of our job that she doesn't have to do as part of her job. Yeah, which is crazy to me.
It affects us quite a bit, so I'm glad that we do it.
Yep. Yeah, it helps us. Yeah, we'd much rather. Again, we don't bill for it technically. I mean, it's kind of built into, for me, it's cost of business, but the reward of when we get on site, man, it would, nothing against clients, our clients or other clients, it would drive me nuts, and I'm sure it would drive you guys nuts if you showed up on site and you're like, well, I'm sure Susie Q got the stage where it's supposed to be.
I hope so.
I'm sure Julie got the rigging where it's supposed to be. Talk about stress. Holy moly. I'd much rather sacrifice some money and not charge for stuff like that just so we have a handle on it, so we can manage it, be the experts on site, so the client doesn't have to, and we have control so we can set ourselves up for success.
For sure. 100%.
Yep. Huge. A couple of questions. I mean, a lot of these keep going back to what I said. How early would you like to be involved in the venue for the AVL planning to avoid last minute surprises? I mean, right away, as soon as possible.
As early as possible. Yeah. Every time.
Get us the contact info. Include us as soon as you can. Let us start to support you as soon as we can. That always helps.
I mean, we can slap stuff together pretty quickly. I mean,
we did a full last year. We did an arena event in 5 days notice.
It's obviously doable, but it's not ideal, but yeah, the months definitely, like, it's nice working on like shows in, October, starting to talk about stuff in like January, February. It's like, oh yeah. Okay. Got some time on that one.
It's unusual.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier to balance stuff when it gets closer.
Because you're hyper focused.
Because you're hyper focused.
Instead of like focused on, right now we're focused on 15 shows, but
you feel like they pay attention, like when you send stuff to the venue 3 months out, they could
respond.
They don't care.
It's like a week out, and they're just like lighting you up.
Yeah. Here's a good one, especially for us, because we don't own gear. We have a limited crew. We primarily focus on contractors who supporting us all we do, and we have gear vendors. When juggling multiple vendors and contractors, how do you keep everyone aligned on all this stuff we've been talking about? I mean, talk about that communication. You did a little bit on how we create that tech letter and send it to our crew. But hurdles that we have that some people, like if you're a production company, big box production company that owns all the gear and has a staff of 50 people, there's a lot of variables that they don't have to juggle that we do as producers, that we do with excellence. I think we even do it better than those guys that have it all on property and in-house. But talk about that. Talk about what it's like juggling the vendor relationships, the contractor relationships, and just what you guys do in the pre-production phase that sets everybody up for success.
Well, these two are going to be able to go in way more detail, but I'm going to throw out a couple, wow words, which is just the relationship that has been built with Mosaic and these people prior is huge. Yep. That's the biggest thing, the relationship and the respect. And working with these people for so long, knowing and understanding the shorthand, what the needs are even before they're asked for it. For me, it's what has been built for years, I think, is what's really helped, but they have the more detail, so it's going to make more sense.
Yeah, I would say because we don't own gear, having we have very good trusted vendor partners who own the gear, provide the gear, and just having that relationship that they work with us hand in hand. They know all the contractors that we work with who are on the show, so sometimes they'll even send over gear list directly to them, and they'll make updates. If not, we're getting the gear list, we're putting it in a Google Drive, we're sharing that with all of our folders to crew, and we tell them, look at the gear list, look it over, let us know what's missing, what do you need updates on. That way, each vendor or each contractor in their department is looking at the gear list and they're fine-tuning exactly what they need, because we try to stay very high level. We know what we need for the most part, but like small little items that we may miss, like those guys are going to catch. So that relationship of them either going right to our vendor or just coming to us, and then our vendors being flexible. And then we've set up this thing where all of our vendors send a vendor rep on each show, which helps set everyone up for success, including the vendor. One, that they know someone is there representing their gear. And then if there's anything missing on site, broken, there's that rep that we can go directly to. And they'll figure out a same day, next day, replacement of what we can get. And it's because we don't own the gear, like we don't want to speak into the gear a ton. So if someone has a question about a camera and its lens, like we'll just say, hey, go talk to the gear rep, because it's their gear, they know it, and they know if they can get something else or whatever. So I think that relationship, and once we've done that for years, our crew just knows to go to those people. And so it helps us because we don't get bogged down as PMs with dealing with like fine tuning gear stuff. We're looking big picture the whole time, which helps a ton.
For sure. And something else that's nice is when we send out like the crew email, all the details. This is the address of where you're sleeping. This is the names of all the spaces we're in. This is who's doing what role. Here's a tire, and here's literally everything linked to the Google Drive with the crew resources. And then also we schedule a crew call a couple days or a week before the show and go over everything. Again, go line item by the schedule, go through when's happening, when something's happening, what's happening, and who's doing what, honestly. And that helps big time because there's multiple lines of communication for the same thing. That just helps a lot.
The goal is that the contractors and vendors know as much as we know.
Yes.
Like we're digesting everything we've compiled in weeks, months of pre-production in one Zoom call, like in a high level detail that all the contractors know exactly what we know. So going to show site, there's very limited questions. And then even on show site, we do a quick group gathering and talk about, okay, what's today's plan? Here's what we're doing. Here's the order of things. So once you do that, and if it's all communicated great, everyone's just off to the races. You're kind of just double checking everything. You're not building it as you go. Like everyone knows their plan and what they're supposed to do and their timeline. So
yeah, what you should do. I mean, as leaders, our job is to set people up for success and guide them. Even below us, we consider ourselves to be expert in the industry, but every freelancer contractor we bring it on show, they're the expert in their field. It's the audio guys, the expert in audio, obviously lighting, video. Our job is to facilitate them with information to set them up for success, to allow them to be the expert in their field. And then it obviously comes back to us tenfold to set up us up for success for our clients. So it all comes down to the due diligence in that pre-production and communicating well. Everything goes back to communication and how you communicate and why you communicate and doing it well to all those parties. So yeah, I think it's just encouraging for people to hear kind of what the process is. And there's always going to be hurdles in the way. Obviously, we all run into hurdles, but A couple more questions, which are great, I think. What's a single piece of advice you give someone planning a large event for the first time? So, say a client calls, first time event, they're planning something, or it's first time using us. What's some advice you can kind of encourage them with, or things that they should probably hear before they start their process?
Change is going to happen, and be okay with it.
Yeah. I feel like you'd be good at answering that question, Brad, because you're in the beginning stages of everything.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to a few things we've talked about. Bring us in as soon as possible. If we can do a site visit, we try to do site visits for every event we're doing. Which, if you're not in the industry, a site visit is essentially you get to the site, you get to the location before even contract phases begin. You get to the location. We've got 3 site visits. What, next week? No, the week after. 3 site visits for 3 different shows. One of them's in 2 months. One of them's in a year and a half, which is crazy to think about.
It is crazy.
Yeah,
but it's helpful.
2 of them are in 2026. One of them's coming up soon. But it's super helpful. Again, we don't charge for that. It's just kind of our operating expense, part of doing business, and it sets us up for success. I think site visits are critical. That should be step one. Any client that reaches out to us to find out how to hire us, my first question is, what's the venue? If they don't have a venue, I shoot them straight. I said, well, first thing, get locked into a venue, and then bring me in and allow me to get into the venue and really design it and plan it and talk about it inside the venue. Just because there's so many variables with venue. I could produce the exact same event in 2 different venues, and it's going to be totally different, especially for you guys on a production standpoint.
Oh yeah.
So site visit, put a lot of energy and time and consistency, and make sure you get your production team with you on that site visit. If it's not the original one where you sign the contract with the hotel, get them very soon after that. And just let them be a part of that site visit. I say that's probably step one. And while we're at it, what are you guys doing on site visits that kind of set you guys up for success? We talked a little bit about it, but talk about a site visit and what we're going to look for when we go out to these 3 venues next week.
Definitely connect with the in-house for power, rigging, get lay of the land, where our points are, how ideal are the points? Are they outrageously terrible, or are they literally every other foot?
Ask for that in CAD.
Yeah,
that's a good thing for client too. In those initials, try to get that CAD so it's accurate.
Yeah, checking out loading dock, getting measurements of everything, or taking note like, a 53 foot semi absolutely cannot fit here. Okay, so that changes some things on our ends to communicate to our vendor. Taking measurements of the room, ceiling height. Do they have obnoxious chandeliers in ballrooms?
Very, very common.
Like, okay, that affects stage placement and our stage wash. So just taking note of everything, taking photos of everything, and trying to be as diligent as possible with talking to client, house, and rigging power and all things in between.
Awesome.
It's very helpful.
I do not enjoy shows where we don't do a site visit. It's super rare. I can't think of one of the last couple of years where we didn't do a site visit, unless it's a venue we've already been at. But almost every single show that we do, we have a site visit.
It's a weird. Even if the one in Colorado Springs, you guys did that. Even though I was the PM for it, I didn't go to the site visit, but it was still super helpful because you knew the property, you saw it. Andrew knew the property, he saw it. So it's still, whether it's me going or one person going, it's still super ideal because I can in the office, I can connect with him and say,
well, they're taking pictures, take as many pictures again, take measurements, take notes.
Yeah.
Put those back into, like Nicely said, we use Monday.com for all of our task management. We build all that. We put them all in that one folder so everybody can find it. Yeah, it's a critical piece. And when I say site visits, it's not just local. Like I said, most of our, I think we'll probably do 3 local events. We're based out of Phoenix. Our headquarters is in Phoenix. I think we have 3 Phoenix events this year. So majority of what we do is out of town. So we're traveling to these site visits. The ones next week are DC,
San Antonio.
LA, San Antonio, and one actually in Phoenix for a show next year. Site visits, it doesn't matter if it's local or not. We're traveling, we're sending 2 or 3 people sometimes, usually an event producer and a production guy. The event producer interacts with the client, the production guy interacts with the venue. Just a lot of energy and time in those site visits to really set us up for success when we get on property and we're going to produce the event, which is critical.
Yep. It just solves a bunch of variables for loading, gives us accurate loading times. Like, how far is the push from the dock to the ballroom? Is the truck going to fit? Do we need to schedule 2 box trucks instead? It saves us time, which then saves the client time.
Yep.
And if we can have that all figured out ahead of time, it's like walking in blind is not. It's not an
Not
answer.
fun.
Not
I mean, we
ideal.
sometimes have to do it because it's not an option to do a site visit, but anything we can do to help pre-pro. The goal is that we do enough work in the office for a show that we can send anyone out. We could contract out a PM and send them our whole packet.
Yep.
And they would feel 99% confident going into the show.
And
So-
have fun while we're there. I mean, I'm definitely not one to enjoy office work. It's just not my mindset. I'm not an administrative guy. I'm a creative guy. But I know the more work we put here at the office, it allows us freedom to, one, have less stress on site and have fun on site. I mean, I don't want to be there till midnight because we didn't plan accordingly and we're troubleshooting and we're trying to figure out this. Like, I want to go out to dinner and hang out with the crew.
For sure.
So the more time and energy you can put in the office to set yourself up for success on show, it's amazing how much fun shows can be because you have a little bit of breathing room and everything goes together a little smoother. Everybody is communicated to well, so they're a little happier. Yeah, I can't say it enough. Put more time and energy into your pre-production to really allow your production to be successful.
Yeah, no,
Agreed.
I'll give Rob a praise here, but
Yeah,
that's
go ahead.
exactly what
That's
Powerhouse.
what he's been waiting for.
Yeah, I know. He was
that's why I'm here.
kept kicking me under the table. I got it.
Hey, it's time.
No, but Powerhouse was extremely laid back, extremely relaxed. The amount of pre-pro you did, stuff we went over, it hit exactly what you're talking about to a T. To where, yeah, there were some questions and stuff from contractors, which are going to happen, but people knew what was going on. We communicated before. We communicated on site. Everybody knew the stuff they were doing.
Mhm.
It was a good show.
And like you just said, it doesn't matter who. Rob, you did all pre-pro for Powerhouse Women. You weren't there, and these two guys had to take it, but it was still just as seamless because you
Yep.
did your job well, and
Yeah.
they had all the information they needed.
Yeah, and it helps that we're now all touching every show. Like,
Yeah,
Which
everyone on
definitely
our
helps.
team is overlooking every show, but we have a lead
a
person.
lead PM.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like the California show. I wasn't even there, and I could answer any question about that show.
yeah. Which
I
is
knew
great.
I wasn't going there the whole time, and I still could answer that.
Which you really missed it because that resort was beautiful.
Thank you.
3
Yeah.
pools,
Yeah. That was
adult
amazing.
pool.
Yeah,
my
it's a-
my
had some
room
fun.
overlooked the ocean. I
Yep.
could watch whales swim by.
Mhm.
Well, our schedule was just primo. We had a 2-hour lunch every day. We didn't get in till 8, and we left at 6. This is the first time we've had that much time at the most beautiful resort. And you were where? Charlotte Motor Speedway.
That's what the
A
Charlotte,
show with Porsche. I mean, that's
Charlotte
cool.
Motor Speedway. It's Porsche.
Porsche.
Oh yeah, is
sorry,
it? Did they
Porsche.
teach you how to say it?
I got corrected several times.
Because you said Porsche.
Yeah, I said Porsche, and they said it's Porsche.
That's like Jaguar. You're supposed to like the Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Sorry,
Yeah.
It's a Jaguar. But yeah, you really missed it. It was beautiful. And
Yeah.
back to that show, it's funny. Somebody asked me this recently. Oh, we're hiring a new guy, which we'll reveal him on the podcast soon. He's going to be an amazing addition to our
Ooh.
team. But he, in the interview process, he's like, hey, you said on your podcast, which is nice that people are listening and watching, that wives or spouses, we'll say spouses, are invited anytime to your shows. And I was like, yeah, of course. That's always a thing. And I was on that show in California when he called me, and I was like, man, think of it. Speaking of, that's what I meant to say. I was like, this show, again, because it's such a beautiful resort, we probably
Thank you.
had, man, what did we have? 10 spouses at that show?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
late.
yeah.
It was a
Cool.
crew.
It's
it was
really
a crew,
cool.
It was a crew of like 20, and I feel like there was 10 spouses. My wife was there, obviously, because she's working for Mosaic. Nicey's wife came out. Jonathan's girlfriend came out. Eddie. I mean, it was awesome. There were some kids. We had kids there, Jess's kids, Eddie's kids. It was awesome. It was worth it because it was such a beautiful resort. So we're glad everybody got to come out and experience. Like the wives got to hang out by the pool while their husbands worked, and that was cool. I'm sure Nicely spent a grip of money on massages for his wife while she was there because it was not a cheap massage. That spa was not cheap at the.
I was gonna say it doesn't cost a dime for us or the client for that to happen.
Nothing.
But for the spouse working, it costs you a lot of personal money.
It costs a lot of
Because
money.
they're like, hey, it's a personal vacation. You're going to
Yeah.
be on a 10-hour load, and what am I going to do? Oh, there's a nice spa here. And you're like,
Oh, yeah, I'm
okay.
going to go spend some money on a spa.
I'm working so that you can go do this, guy.
Yep.
That's fine.
I think it rained the entire time we were in Charlotte.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Oh man, we had I think it was 70.
Yeah,
It
sunny.
was dumping
Yeah.
rain the whole time.
I mean, it does
Perfect.
keep your crew happier though, because they, as opposed to going back to their room and watching Netflix, they're going back for some sexy time. So they come back the next morning
Crazy.
little happier than they were the night before.
So crazy.
Which
I will
most
say
long
everyone
shows
on
are
that
not as
show-
happy.
Everyone
happy?
on that show had high tea.
Oh, for sure.
All of a sudden, everybody's in
For
great
sure.
moods the whole week because their
Checks
spouse is
out.
there.
Well, but what was cool though, you're talking, even like sometimes midday, like where we're setting up and loading up, wife with a kid would come by and you could just see it was like that natural
was
pick me up
awesome.
that you don't normally get
It
till you
was
get
awesome.
home. We're traveling so much. It was that cool little pick me
It
up
was
that these
great.
people got.
And they got to see what you do. I said that when I was talking about spouses being able to come out to one of our shows. I encourage, other production companies to do that. Like, it's so cool, especially when you travel. Like, if your spouse travels for production, event, anything, like the other spouse doesn't really get to experience what you do for a living. Most of them have no idea what we do for a living. It doesn't make any sense why we'd be stuck in a ballroom for 15 hours. They just can't wrap their head around that, or why it takes so long to set it up. So when they do get to travel with you and come into the ballroom, like you said, and the kids get to experience it and see how cool it is and fun, it just, adds a whole new level. And it was very high tea for the dudes. A lot of smiles for everybody else. It was really a cool experience at that venue. So I'm excited that they got to do that and thankful for the clients that they don't mind that happens. Again, it's not an expense to them whatsoever. We already have hotel rooms so that they don't have to pay extra, but it definitely helps us and allows us just to open that invite to spouses to come out. So I would encourage other people to do that. It was a lot of fun. And Rob, I'm sure it'll happen to you sometime. Your wife and beautiful
One
little
day.
baby will come out.
One day.
They can ride a Porsche around. Put that baby in a Porsche and drive her around the circle.
Hey, we went to the Ritz in Laguna in 23.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, your wife came out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
See?
our 1 year anniversary.
What do you complain
It was
about?
great.
Stop complaining.
'Cause
2 years ago, you had to bring your wife to a show. Stop complaining. You had a great crew out in Charlotte. You had four dudes.
They're actually still out there.
They are. That's a long one. We've got another show in Charlotte's 35-day show, which is wild. But great crew out there. Shout out to those 4 dudes. They're killing it out there as always. We've got great people that surround us, do everything we do. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. All good information. I hope people listen to it and are encouraged. And if you're not encouraged, if you're discouraged because your production company doesn't do that for you, again, this is not a Mosaic commercial. This podcast is not meant to be one, but find a better production company. Feel free to shoot us out an email if you want to talk to us about it. Encourage your production company to support you more than they are because you heard it on a podcast. So they'll just hate us for that. Like, oh, well, why don't you guys do what the Mosaic guys do? Like, just say that.
That'll go over well.
That's great advice.
That's fine.
Yeah. Can you just be more like the Mosaic guys? Yeah, don't start there. Just be, hey, can you come on a site visit with me? Can you do this with me?
Well, if anything, our goal is to set the bar high, and for other companies,
we're just trying to be encouraging. Here's some things that we've seen that works. And
they can take some of that. It's insider
100%.
information.
Yeah, 100%.
Some of it might not be new for some new companies, but if you're not doing that, start looking into doing it. It's just going to set you up for more
100%.
success and retain more clients. So.
And we're given, if anything, we're given the behind the secrets of what makes us successful. So take it and hopefully it helps you along the way as well. So kudos to you guys. You guys work your butts off. Appreciate you and everything you guys do. It's a lot of fun. And you guys are doing it in and out every day here in the office and on show. So thank you guys for being a part of today. Crew Call Pod, man, follow us every Wednesday. We're trying to drop new episodes on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Stay tuned for more episodes like this and some great interviews as well. We'll see y'all soon.